Good afternoon, everybody. Here's Sir Jude, and this is our first video lecture for school year 2026-2027. For my previous subscribers, no, especially my past students who are now in their senior high school or college, whatever track or course that you're currently taking or finishing, no? Bago na po ang aming curriculum for this school year, kaya you might be wondering bakit nagsistart kami this time with chemistry instead of earth science. So our very first lesson for this school year, we began our discussion with table sugar or sucrose, wherein its chemical formula is C12H22O11, wherein it contains 12 carbon atoms, 22 hydrogen atoms, and 11 oxygen atoms, respectively. So once you start pulverizing this sugar cube, it becomes solid or powdered sugar, or otherwise known as solid sucrose. And because it's still sucrose, you still follow the chemical formula C12H22O11. So yung kanyang form lang po yung nagbago, but its chemical identity is still exactly the same. On the other hand, once you start mixing sugar cube or sucrose cube with water, no, starts to melt. Meaning we started with solid sucrose and this time we end up with liquid sucrose. But only the physical state of sucrose change. Sucrose is still sucrose, therefore we're still going to follow the formula C12H22O11. And lastly, once you heat the sugar cube, no, it now turns into liquid caramel. Notice that I'm not using the word sucrose anymore, meaning we expect that the chemical formula for caramel will be different from that of sucrose. That's why kanina I used CXHYOZ, wherein X, Y, and Z represent different numbers from 12, 22, and 11. So notice that we have three different types of changes. When we pulverize sugar cube, no, solid sucrose is still solid sucrose. When we start mixing it with water, solid sucrose became liquid sucrose. And once you heat the sugar cube, no, it turned into liquid caramel. So therefore, what type of change did the sugar experience in each process? So once you pulverize it to solid to powdered sugar or powdered sucrose, no, it underwent physical change. When we mix it with water, it underwent phase change. And once we heat it up, it underwent chemical change. So what are the similarities and differences of physical, phase, and chemical change? We will find out as we delve into changes in matter. Okay? So our first type of change in matter is called physical change, wherein as you can see, before we have sugar cube or cubic sugar, and afterwards we have the powdered sugar. Both of them are solid. Both of them have chemical identities or chemical compositions of C12H22O11. Therefore, there are no changes in the state and chemical composition of the sucrose. So only its appearance or form changed. On the other hand, when it comes to phase change, no, so solid cubic sugar became liquid sugar upon mixing with water. But still, sucrose is still sucrose, only this when we say phase change, there are only changes in state of matter. It's still sucrose, but its physical state is not the same anymore after mixing it with water. Now, let's piggyback the six types of phase changes, no? So this time, let's use ice as our substance of interest. At the left, you have the ice, no? Wherein it's solid in it, water in solid form. And then on the middle, we have water in its liquid form. And then at the right side, we have water in its gaseous form. So when ice turns to liquid water, no? So solid turning to liquid, we call that process melting. When liquid water turns into steam, that process is called evaporation, liquid turning to gas. And finally, once solid, no, skips the liquid phase and automatically transforms into its gaseous phase, therefore that process is called sublimation. Now, all three of these processes, melting, solid to liquid, evaporation, liquid to gas, and sublimation, solid to gas, all of them require absorption of heat o paghihigop ng init. Therefore, these three processes are called endothermic processes because heat is absorbed. On the other hand, no, let's identify the reverse processes. Let's start muna with gas to liquid, no? When gas transforming to liquid is called condensation. Then liquid turning to solid, the process is called freezing. And finally, gas skipping the liquid phase, turning into solid phase, we call that deposition. Now, all three of these processes, condensation, wherein gas turns to liquid, freezing, wherein liquid turns to solid, and finally, deposition, wherein gas turns to solid, no? All of them require releasing of heat, no? So, paglabas po ng init. Therefore, these three are classified as exothermic processes because heat is released. All right. So all six, no, the three endothermic processes from the previous slide and the three exothermic processes in the current slide, we call them phase changes because only the states of matter change, but the identity of these three substances are the same. All of them are still water. Now, let's have a quick activity before we proceed to the final type of change in matter. So let's determine the initial to final states, phase change, and type of heat transfer in each scenario, beginning with foggy window. Foggy window will start with gas and turns to liquid. Therefore, the phase change is called condensation, and the heat transfer process is considered exothermic. On the other hand, for snow formation, we start from gas and we end up with solid, with the snow. That process is called deposition. And just like condensation, the heat transfer is also called exothermic. Next, for our third example, drying of clothes, wherein they start wet uh, after submerging them in water during laundry, and they end up dry once we hang them under the sun. So the initial to final state is liquid to gas, and that process is called evaporation. And this process requires absorption of heat called endothermic process. For solidification of fruity ice cream popsicles, this one is very easy, no? We start with liquid ice cream and we end up with solid one, thanks to refrigerator or freezer. Then the phase change is called freezing, and heat transfer is exothermic. For our final pair of examples, our penultimate example, liquefying of butter. We start with solid butter and we end up with liquid butter. And that process is called melting. And the heat transfer is endothermic. For shrinking of mothballs, no, mothballs are used in order to sway away insects like cockroaches or to kill them, no, because there are some chemicals in it that are poisonous to animals like cockroaches. And mothballs, no, when you bite them, they start as solid and they end up disappearing or as a gas, no? There are no only the gas is noticeable or observable using their sense or odor instead of smoke or steam. And that phase change is called sublimation, and the heat transfer process is endothermic. Ayan, so these are the 6 types of phase changes, wherein 3 are endothermic and 3 are exothermic. Now, for our last type of change in matter, we have chemical change. Okay? As you notice, we start kanina. We're now returning to our original example, which is sucrose or table sugar, no? So we start with cubic sugar na solid, and we ended up with liquid caramel na liquid, no? But notice that the chemical compositions of sucrose or cubic sugar and liquid caramel are now entirely different. So that means there are changes in chemical composition. Regardless kung magbago man yung state here or not, ang importante, there are changes in chemical composition because new substance or substances is or are formed. Bago ng substance na kakaiba kaysa dun sa original substance. Okay? So yun po yung 3 types na ating changes in matter. First, we have physical. Second, we have phase. Third, we have chemical. Let's have another substance of interest, and this time it's iron. Okay? When you heat solid iron in its stony form or appearance, it becomes liquid iron. And because it's still iron, therefore we adopt the same chemical formula, Fe. On the other hand, when you expose stony iron to air, no, part of it becomes rusty. Yeah, we have solid rust, wherein the chemical formula is now Fe2O3, wherein you have 2 iron atoms and 3 oxygen atoms. And then finally, once you bend or shape or hammer or pound stony iron, it becomes a chain, no? And you end up with still solid iron with the same chemical formula, Fe. Now, the question is, what type of change happened in each scenario? For the first example, you start with solid iron, you end up with liquid iron. Iron are still involved, but the physical state changed. Therefore, the first example is a manifestation of phase change. On the second example, you start with solid iron, Fe, and you end up with solid rust, Fe2O3. They have different chemical compositions, therefore chemical change manifested. And finally, you start with solid iron in its stony appearance, and you end up with solid iron in its chain appearance. Therefore, this one is physical change because its physical state and chemical composition remain the same. Okay, let's have some more. Let's determine whether each scenario demonstrates physical, phase, or chemical change, and then justify why. Let's start with breaking of bottle. This one is physical change, no? Because a full bottle is just the same, has the same chemical composition as the broken bottle, or empty bottle rather. Okay. Next, you have decomposition or discoloration first and decomposition of several fruits or vegetables. We have apples, potatoes, and avocados. This one is chemical change, no? Because the expired or decomposed fruits are not safe to eat anymore, no? You will find yourself having an upset stomach, and that's an indication that chemical change occurred because the chemical composition of the fruit turned into something dangerous and unedible anymore. Okay? And finally, for the last one, it's not really clear, no? So it's a woman applying lotion or cream in her body, and notice that when we apply lotion or cream in our body, no, the lotion at some point starts to or to feel like disappear, no? So therefore, that's phase change, no? Because you start with liquid lotion, and then even though it's not as present anymore, like several minutes or a couple of minutes later, we still recognize it using the scent, no? So you start with liquid lotion and you end up with gaseous lotion. Therefore, that's an example of evaporation. Okay? Now, let's have some multiple choice questions. Number three, a chemical change is a process wherein one or more substances are transformed into new substances through chemical means. Which scenario indicates a chemical change? So letter A, a camper chops wood for a bonfire, no? Nag-chop lang naman ng wood, therefore this is madali lang po. This is an example of physical change because solid wood, you start with solid wood and you end up with solid wood again. So therefore, this one is physical change. For letter B, a waiter unpackages a water bottle and places it into the freezer. Our substance of interest here is water. So you start with liquid water and you end up with solid water. Therefore, this one is phase change. Okay? Lagyan ko na lang po dito letter B. Ayan. Then letter C, a glass cup falls from the kitchen counter and shatters on the ground. This is just the same as the shattered bottle from the previous slide. Therefore, you start with a solid glass and you end up with a solid glass again. Therefore, this is physical change. Then, because the question requires for chemical change, automatically the answer is letter D. A plant collects sunlight, water, and gases and turns them into glucose. So obviously, sunlight, water, and gases are not the same as glucose anymore. Kaya there's changes in chemical compositions. Therefore, letter D is the answer here. All right. Number 4. Is burning of paper an example of sublimation, a phase change? If yes, why? If not, why not? So burning of when we burn paper, no, I start with solid paper. Okay? And you end up with an ash, which is gaseous. Ayan. So technically, using the term solid becoming gaseous, it it appears to be sublimation. But look at the chemical compositions. Paper is not the same anymore as ash. Therefore, the correct answer for this one is letter B. Burning of paper is not an example of sublimation because when paper turns to ash, ash is now an entirely new substance. Therefore, burning of paper is considered a chemical change, not a phase change. Okay? Our final question for the day is number 5. How will you classify the change in the silver spoon and why? So on the left, you have polished silver spoon wherein it's solid and the chemical composition is simply Ag. And then you have tarnished silver spoon wherein it's still solid but the chemical composition is now Ag2S. Notice that the physical state of the spoon remains solid but its chemical composition is now changed. No? From silver lang na Ag, you now have 2 silver atoms and 1 sulfur atom at the tarnished silver spoon. Therefore, when there are changes in chemical composition, new substances are formed, or in this case, a new substance was formed. Therefore, the answer is automatically letter D. Okay? So, tarnishing of silver is an example of chemical change because a new substance, Ag2S, was formed from Ag. Okay? So that's all for our very first video lecture for this school year. Please bring all the materials for our experiment tomorrow, as well as the handout for your activity sheet as a group for your very first performance task for this school year. Till then, good afternoon, goodbye, and take care.